Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
What is going on, crypto fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Nightcap, and we're doing this every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we got a ton of news to talk about today. Obviously, we got our rate cut and we finally got a little bit of closure. It is a 50 basis point rate cut, but what is that going to mean for the market? Because Bitcoin in the interim is pumping, but is that what it's going to be doing later on? We'll take a look at a little chart that I have, but I'm not doing this alone. I got my man. He is back. He is feeling a little bit better, but let's go ahead and bring him up. Oh no, I gotta update this. White in the house. Sorry about that. I must have updated all the trio cams. So let me bring this up for you real quick. Guest cam. Nope. Co-host. There he is.
There we go.
All right, I got you back, and
There we
then
go.
let's make sure I got the right name on there. Boom. All right, so I'm gonna have to do that probably a couple times today. So sorry, I don't know what
Okay.
happened. I did set it up pre-show, but it didn't save. I don't see it as an option on OBS sometimes. Is what it is.
Yeah.
But what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm feeling a little bit better, man. I still sound a little bit hoarse, but I couldn't miss today, man. Today is a day in history, man. So we gotta talk about it,
It's a
man.
biggie. It's
The
a biggie.
the pivot part 2 has returned.
It is here. It is here. Let me go over. Matter of fact, if you want, I'll have you. Can you give a couple shout outs, or is your voice still
Yeah. Oh
crushed right now?
no. We gotta work it out. We gotta work it
All
out.
right,
So
cool.
let's start. Let's see who we got. We got Piper. Oh no, Piper. That's us. Never mind. We got Indie Rock. we got. I'm a little rusty,
Yes.
man. One
Yeah,
day
we're
off,
here.
you know.
We're
I'm a
here,
little
baby.
rusty. Indie Rock Crypto, man. That's my guy, my Michigan native. How you doing? We got username Crypto Mar in the building. Alexandra G, the best mod in the house. Who else we got in here? Alex O, he was here yesterday, man. Appreciate you filling in. Well, you would have been here anyway, but you did an amazing job, man. Thank you for coming and keeping the show going. We got Piper in the house. Piper, man, I'm sorry I missed yesterday, but we back at it tomorrow. We got a lot of trades coming in. I wanted to get this over and then see which way the market was going to go. I didn't want to have all this, fundamental things going on. So now we're going back to the technicals for the rest of the week. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Trade Academy. Me and Piper, Eric Wallen. Who else we got? We got Buck in the house.
That's my
So far,
Marine, dude. That's my Marine.
that's all I said. Yeah. Yes. You see, I got my Piper Academy hat on today, man. I got this from my dad, man. He used to be he served too. So I kept this for
I like it. I
just
like it.
put it
Oh,
on
so you
sometime.
all
Yeah,
right? You
man.
got a little touch of that military in you too. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know what that's like. Red man's in the house. What's up, my dude? How you doing? All right. Well, the biggie today. I mean, you guys all know what was going down, but first, I got something for you, and hopefully, I might have to update all of FD's stuff here as we go along. But sorry for that. You'll be flip flopping back. Oh, he's good. Sweet. First thing
There we
up
go.
is Donald Trump actually uses Bitcoin to pay at a bar in New York. So my man is taking it all in. He has NFTs. He's already said he's going to have permissive policies, and now he's using Bitcoin. And they actually gave him a whole Bitcoin at the conference. If you guys weren't there, there's a little nugget for you. He is a whole Bitcoiner. All right. So there you go. Donald Trump, all we can say, bullish. All right. Going. I think we should do a like every time we do a news article, maybe we should do a FD White rating, whether it's bullish or bearish. Like, and then we'll just have something flash up on the screen. So
Let's do it.
thinking live, thinking live. All right. So next thing up is the biggie, and that is the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 50 basis points. Now we've been having a lot of discussion on whether that's going to be a 25 or a 50, and what's bullish, what's bearish. I thought 25 kind of made the most sense. Alex O was on last night. He said he thought it was going to be a 50, and this might actually fall in line with what Citibank was saying. I know they said 1.25, but after kind of really thinking about it, I think they were saying in conjunction throughout the rest of the year. So if you have 4 in total, I think there's only supposed to be 3 left, but if you have 4 in total, this could actually work out to that 1.25 that they were talking about. So that's something to keep in mind. But what is this going to be bullish or bearish? And I do have a little something. Actually, let's talk about the numbers here real quick. We'll go to the economic calendar because it breaks it down a little bit for you. Now, this is the first reduction that we've had in borrowing since March of 2020. And now policymakers are actually penciling in 100 basis points of easing by year end, suggesting 2 more 25 basis points cuts this year. So now you kind of know what we're expecting for the rest of the year. So we are now have started a trend. So, one of the things that Alex did talk about yesterday, hey, rip the Band-Aid off and then you kind of progressively work down. That makes sense, in my mind, but like, does 50 indicate, bigger issues or bigger problems, and that's kind of my biggest question, because if there wasn't something that made them, flip to 50 vice 25, like what is that? Why did we go 50 vice just continuing that 25 trend? And that's what has me asking questions. And so, I wasn't able to listen to all of what Chirp Powell had to say today. But my understanding is it was a little bit dovish on the front side, and then there were some little touches and sprinkles of hawkishness in there as well, kind of keeping us on our toes a little bit. But did you watch any of the his speech today? And then what's your thoughts on it? I want to hear that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched it. I couldn't watch it. It's so boring, so I let it go, and then I watched it on 2x speed. But that's how I watch YouTube anyway, so I'm pretty used to it. But he was just basically saying, he said the economy is good, the labor market is okay, and it just I was just sitting there scratching my head like, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. All these revisions, and then they came out with their I think it's called like the SEP or something like that, where they break down all the things that they were talking about and everything that they're looking at, their forward projections and whatnot. And it doesn't look like they think it's okay to me. So what I'm looking at right now is just, I think they did 50 because they probably should have did 25 in July. That's what everybody is saying. So I can kind of concur with that. So 25 would have, I think, you know what? I don't even know, man. I don't know. I don't think these rate cuts are going to do too much in the short term. We're going to have to see what
Well, I
the
mean, the
next
market's
3 to 6
moving. The
months.
market is pumping. So
Yeah.
short
The
term,
market, the
Bitcoin,
market is pumping.
I
So
mean, it's
the
moving.
the the crypt well, if you looked, the stock market, the S&P hit all-time high, gold hit all-time high, but the stock market started to pull back at the end. We closed about 0.29, and then we closed for the Nasdaq at 0.45. So the Nasdaq and the stock market closed negative. Bitcoin did go up, then it went back down. Now we're just really starting to pump again.
Yeah,
We're at
it's
62.3 right now.
moving
So
quick now.
I'm gonna yeah. So the Asian session has started. I think it starts around or soon. So the Asian session might be pumping us, but I want to see what happens tomorrow. That's what I want to see what happens tomorrow once these these indices and everything opens up. The futures are up a little bit, so I will keep my eye out on that. But I don't know, man. At this point, I do not know, man. I don't think we're as good as what they're saying, because I have a clip where he's talking about the labor market is pretty good. They did get some downward revisions, but overall is they're not worried. So we'll see. The Fed is usually forward. I mean, backwards looking. Looking in the rear view. So we'll have to see, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right, a couple late shout outs in here. Username. Hey, bro, I just wanted, I don't have the damn plant that you want, and I don't have sharks with laser beams, but I did bring a green screen. So I am, oh, well, look at that. You even get fireworks now. But I brought that to the hotel. All right. So you can stop hazing me. All right. Eric Wallen, what's up, my dude? C90 for the win. The Biomex is in the house. What's up, my guy? Hola. Thank you for joining us. Nice space that you guys had yesterday with Crux. Definitely enjoyed that. So who else? Anyone else in here? Twill Line Man for Hire. What's up, my guy? Hope all is well. All right, dude. So you said you got a clip. Do you want to play that clip now? Putting you on the spot. Putting you on the spot. You're on mute, I think.
I had you on mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
You want
So
to
I'm
play
gonna
it?
play this. Well, this is from. I
There
hope
you
we
go.
don't get demonetized, but this is from Meet Kevin's channel. I
It's
was
just
watching it
Piper's
over there.
money. Don't worry about it. I don't get none of that.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, we're good.
He'll be all right.
Again, the labor market is
Can you hear
actually
it?
in
Yeah, it's got a little echo
solid
though.
condition. And our intention with
Okay,
our
let me see.
policy in solid condition. And again, the labor market is actually in solid condition. And our intention with our policy move today is to keep it there.
So basically, he said the labor market is in solid condition. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It's
and
not. You know that
he
they're
started off
smoke and
too
mirrors, man.
with
Smoke
the
and mirrors.
economy is fine. What?
The economy is fine.
What?
The labor market is in okay condition. Dude, I mean, he's supposed to be the one of the top worldwide economists in the world to get this job, man. I can pull up. I'm just a dude from Detroit, and I can go to the Fed website, the St. Louis Fed website, and I can tell you that the job market is not good when you peel those layers back. A lot of people, they're probably just looking at these, but they're not peeling layers back. Like I seen a post earlier on like Facebook. This is kind of off topic, but I got to bring this up. It was a post on Facebook going around. It had like 51,000 shares talking about in 2020, the Dow was at 19,000 and unemployment was at 9%. Today, the Dow is hitting all time highs and unemployment is at 4.2%. Let's bring out the facts. So basically, they were trying to, push a political narrative. And you know me, I'm sitting there like, I didn't want to say nothing because I don't like to get into arguments on Facebook because it's like just a never ending why did I even start?
Yeah.
But then I had to bring the point like context. What happened in 2020? Why was the unemployment rate at 9.2? Why was the Dow at 19,000? Like we have to have context. They got these numbers from like March or early April when the pandemic first started. Everything hit. Everything was closed down. Markets were scary. So it's just smoke and mirrors. You can take these things for what it's worth. But once you peel layers back, getting back to my point, man, the real numbers come out. And I'm a peel layer back type of guy. I'm gonna peel your layers back. If I don't know you and I'm talking to you, you know what I mean? If I do business, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna peel them layers back to see if I want to do business with you. Just the same thing, man. So it's just like, I don't know what he's talking about. We know what's really going
And
on. So
it looks like
50
Indy
basis
Rock.
points. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
What
say,
happened?
sorry, man. I thought you were done there, but I was gonna say, Indy Rock agrees with you, man. He says a lot of people don't realize how many measurements were changed for how we
Yeah.
gauge the data. And
Yeah.
that's something I
Exactly.
mentioned last night on the space. Is like they're changing it at their convenience, and it's really frustrating because we, as the actual consumers, right? Because that's really what we are. We are consumers. We see it, right? It's tangible. And like until you show
Yeah.
me that a box of cereal is not $7, like it's out of control.
Yeah.
Everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
Like
That's
30%.
how they get you though. Yeah, that's how they get
Yeah.
you though. See, the average person, if you're watching this channel, you're probably a little bit savvy, you're a little bit economically savvy, you're a little bit, investment savvy wise. The average person is not. The average person is like, oh, the TV said the unemployment rate is down. The TV said that the job market is good. The TV said like, and I just sit there like, the Matrix is so real, man. The Matrix is so real, and it's
It's
just
crazy.
it bothers me, but it's just one of them things where I try to help people to understand that you have to not take everything at face value and do your own homework, your own research, and your own due diligence, man. Because the number, like, if we've probably been in a recession since 2020. You know what I mean? The stock market and the regular market, the economy is two different things. So
Yeah, there
I
was
know people who can't. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's
there was
bad.
I mean there was a few times there where GDP was in the positive. I mean, that was the traditional gauge, right? But now they've changed all the metrics within that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a big part
Yeah.
of GDP too is government spending. And I try to tell people
Yep.
that. And I'm like, you're like, "Oh, GDP looks great." I say, "Yeah, how much money did
Yeah,
we just send to Ukraine?"
yeah.
Because that's part of it.
Government spending, yeah.
And then
Yep,
the government
and go ahead.
jobs,
There you go.
that's,
Yep,
I mean, Piper's been talking about that. He's been preaching that for the past like couple weeks now. He's like, "Yo, look at the government jobs." Like that's part of
yeah,
government
yeah.
spending. So yeah,
Yeah, and the
it's wild.
government jobs also, reflect
The
in the
job
job
numbers.
numbers, the job data. So if you stripped government out,
Yep.
we would have far worse numbers. And with the deficit at 35 trillion, if you start to take all these government jobs and all these other things out, a lot of these government jobs not needed anyway, that will start to be it will be a start to lowering that deficit. But they're not going to do that. That's what they use to fluff numbers and do all that, man.
Yeah.
It's just I'm trying to get super rich, man. Take care of my family and stay out the
There
way,
you
man.
go. There you go. Alex O, he said the jobs will be replaced by robots in the next 5 years anyway, so it's not gonna matter. I
Hey,
mean, you might
man,
not be wrong, bro. Sharks are
some
freaking
of them.
laser beams. Yeah.
I can, you know what, Alex, man, I can do the job of 5 to 6 people with Chat GPT right now. If it comes to like analytics or data or writing or things like that, I can do the job of 5 people with Chat GPT, Grunt, or all these, any of these other Gemini or these other AI things. So it's coming, man. It's here now, but once it start getting to the physical, like the physical movement with robotics and stuff like that, it's gonna be a problem. And then we'll have to see what's really gonna happen once that starts to come around, because it's already looking like people are, if you got a job, man, keep your job, because it's hard to get jobs right now. It's harder to get jobs right now. So stay
Well,
locked and loaded.
everybody's happy with a good Bitcoin pump, and here we are, TradeFly and FDY just punching you in the face. I hope you guys enjoyed that. welcome, welcome back to reality. Sorry about that.
Hey,
All right.
man.
Well, hey, we're I feel we're in a very bearish mood right now, very
No,
negative.
no,
So
no, no. It's not bears though. It's not bears. I gotta put my reverb on. Is my reverb on?
it
It's not
is. It
bearish.
is.
It's
Okay.
not
Okay. All
bearish.
right. Not bearish.
We are, but this
We're
is
just we're
bullish.
on
This
one.
is this
We're on one.
this is the Fed pivot part two. We got the first one is the cut with the pause. Number two is the cut. Number three, what's number three? The stimulation, the stimulus.
Oh, the
That's
money
coming.
printer.
So
The
when that
money printer.
comes,
All right.
that's when our assets will be inflated as well. Hold the fort.
Here we go. So, on all of that note, I'm about to show you a chart. So, let's go ahead. Sound the freaking siren, baby. Bring on FUD. You know what's coming. And here we go. Fed pivot. A lot of times it's followed by a pretty big pullback on the S&P 500. So, not saying that the S&P 500 or S&P 500 is not going to continue to go up and right, because it just always does. But if you're looking at it, you do see some drops after these pivots, man. 36%, 48%, 27%, 51, 58, 35. So, Piper has been talking about that for quite some time. And he was saying, hey, after these pivots, a lot of times you will get a pullback on the market. So be ready for that. And so I'm not saying like it has to happen. All right. I just want to be clear about that, because, history doesn't always repeat. It just has a tendency there. Uh, be ready, because there's two things that I'm looking at here. Not only is there a Fed pivot, but we just set an all-time high by like cents, I think, on the S&P 500. So now it's almost like a double top potentially. We don't know because we haven't had a pullback yet. We can't really say it is, but it could be. And if we're having, a 50 basis point rate cut, and we think the economy is kind of trending in a negative direction, and if we're starting to talk about the R word again, starting to hear that recession thing come up again, um, it's in play. And so I just want to point that out to you guys. Just knowing is half the battle, right? So, I mean, what do you think about this, man? I mean, the kind of proof is in the pudding there. After the pivots, there seems to be a tendency that the S&P is going to pull back. So, shall we short the market? Maybe not Bitcoin.
Uh,
Bitcoin seems to be a little bit different, but the S&P,
Too early to tell. Yeah, too early to tell, man. It's
I
too
think I
early to
might.
tell. I got a chart. I got some charts, man. I got the S&P up. I got XPS up. So we'll look at that. We do have some charts, but it's too early to tell, man. I gotta give me a couple of days, maybe at least till the weekend, man, to see what's going on. But
Yeah.
it's looking like a triple top on the S&P. If we don't break out of this zone up here, it's looking like a triple top
Yeah.
coming in. But we'll talk about it.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I might just take a little short play, take a G and take a little perpetual short on it. We'll see. That being said, Bio, he's up here with a membership for 1 month. He says, I'm going to an AI conference in Austin tomorrow. What should I ask? I would say you're probably not going to get a real answer here. But my thing is, like, I'm trying to think about this exponential increase and capability, right? So when AI gets further down the development chain and it really does start to take over, as Alex O says, right? You really start replacing workers. And there's already been some companies that said they've been able to replace as much as 70 employees through AI. When do you get to that factor of diminishing returns for AI? Right? So if you take 70 employees and you take them off the charts, right? You now need, depending on what the job is, I'll take it to kind of what I do with Northrop, and you're talking about manufacturing of aircraft. You're taking computers away from those people. There's a lot of infrastructure and IT networking that goes into supporting those employees. At what point do you say we don't really need all those chips anymore? Like, because that's the big thing. So when you start getting into a software and like customer service aspect of that, so I'm very interested in that for NVIDIA, because AI is kind of the AI chips specifically for NVIDIA is kind of their big play. What's the expectation there? And that's kind of, I'm curious about that. And I don't know if I'm really articulating that question exactly. Maybe you'd have to kind of think about what I'm saying, but that's what I'm interested in. All right. What about you, FD? You got anything? Any questions?
No, I think AI still has a long way to go, man. I think we're at the early stages of this exponential curve. So I think we have at least another 3 to 5 years of exponential growth for AI, and it can do a lot of good, and it can do a lot of harm, and it can do a lot of good individually if you learn how to use it. Like, of course, they're gonna take jobs, but if they need people to program these AI models, they need people to prompt writers and things like that. So it's the jobs. Some jobs may be taken away, but there might be new jobs created. So it's just one of the things where I think AI is going to continue its exponential growth, and then balance out probably within the next decade. But I think it still has a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a ways to go too. I think it at some point it's gonna hit like a cutoff, like really hard too. Like they're gonna be like, all right, we've saturated the market. But I guess that's what business does, right? They get in, they saturate the market, and then they move on to the next thing. That's just how it goes. So yeah, as long as there's no Skynet, that's the biggest thing.
Oh,
We
yeah,
don't, yeah,
Skynet is coming.
we don't want
Skynet is
that.
coming.
We actually
It's
use
here.
that as a call sign for one of the aircraft we were using a couple years ago. Well, I always thought it was funny, just being like, "Yep, this is Skynet 8." They're like, "Oh God!" Like, so all right, cool. Let's press on. Let's go ahead and get into the market pulse here. And here we might go. It's actually not working. I don't know why it is not working. That's 2 days in a row. But then when I check it afterwards, it works. It's all right. I got you. I can do it the hard way. Here we go. Over to the market pulse. And the total crypto market cap is sitting at 2.12 trillion. That's up 1.99%. 24-hour trading volume is sitting at 82.92 billion, which is actually an increase of 12.25%. Bitcoin dominance sitting at 57.38%. And that is an increase of 0.17%. All right, fear and greed index is sitting at 38, which is fear. I'm guessing we're going to see that move up here, especially with the Bitcoin move, because it looks like all of the cryptos are following along with Bitcoin. So looking at your top 10, at least, Bitcoin is sitting at number 1. That's at 62,524. That is up 3.82% over 24 hours and up 8.55% over 7 days. Ethereum is currently sitting at 2407.45, and that is up 3.51% over 24 hours and up 2.18% over 7 days. All right, other movers. Let's just look for some of your big movers here. BNB 4.5 over 7 days, nothing too crazy. Solana, kind of a good move over 24 hours, not so much over 7 days, only 1.72%. Let's see, XRP still holding stable. We are still below that 60 cent mark. It is at 58 cents currently. We'll scroll down a little bit. Doge is over 10 cents again. That's looking good. Toncoin just steadily moving up. 5.68 right now. We were talking about that sub 5, but that is up 5% over 7 days. All right, Tron holding steady at number 10. That has not moved hardly at all. So very interesting there. Cardano with a nice little move over the last 24 hours, and that is currently sitting at 35 cents. So it was at 33. So looking good there. Good news. AVAX, whoa, that's a move. I missed that one. That's at 25.84. I think I just saw that as early as today at 23. So that's up 8.87% over 24 hours and up 10.23% over 7 days. I will tell you guys, I am bullish on AVAX. I still think there is a market there for that. So it does have that gaming narrative. So I have continued to put a little bit in AVAX. I'm still bullish on AVAX, and I think a lot of people have kind of lost sight of that one. So I've jumped ship. I jumped off the Matic ship over to the AVAX ship. So we'll see here. Over to the crypto bubbles. Let's take a look at that. And it is a sea of green. The only thing that is taking a hit right now is actually KuCoin's proprietary token. And that is at 3.2% in the negative. Everything else, look at, there you go, dog. There it is. Your Popcat, 24.5% over the last 24 hours. SEI is at 21.3%. SUI is at 16.6%. AVAX 9, Hex 24. I don't really care about that one too much. Phantom's at 13.4% and Near at 11.9%. Those are kind of your big movers. Everyone else, it looks like, is somewhere between 4 to like 8%. So the market is moving. The market is looking good. This is what we like to see. Green across the board. Looking at your liquidity on the 3-day, we did talk about this liquidity up here. It is now working through that liquidity and clearing it out. So it could get beaten into submission. That's one thing I say to look for when you go and you start clearing out that liquidity, is when it starts getting a little bit darker up here, and to see if it continues to get hot. Like if people are not taking leveraged short positions, you're going to see it cool down. And then a lot of times, I won't say every time, but a lot of times you actually start seeing a reversal once we start working into those areas. So we'll look, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see what the 2-week is telling us. Yep. About the same story, right? So when we start getting up to about 62.7, there's a lot less liquidity up there. So let's see how that translates to the chart. So, and on your bottom side where you got some heat is really starting at about, we'll say 57.4. So help me out there. 62.7 and 57.4. Let's see if I can remember those numbers. So 57.4 was one of them. Let's see where that is. That makes sense. Right there, you can see there is a little area of support as well as resistance, a little horizontal level there. That's kind of our last stopping point before we made that move up. So that does make sense. There's some liquidity sitting there. And then what was the other one? Did I say 60? Did I say 63, right? Or 62.7, 62.7. All right, let's go look. Oh, that's surely in play. And I think I talked a little bit about that. And that's the 200. You got the 200 SMA as well as this horizontal level of resistance here. That's all in play, man. And we're on the daily right now. So we're actually getting over the dynamic reactor. We're breaking out of this pattern here. We had a little falling, it looks like a falling wedge, ever so slightly. We have broken out. And, one of the things I said, if we break out of here, let's go ahead and look at a smaller time frame. Let's see if we got a retest. Yeah. So it may not have lined. That was aggressive. May not have lined up perfectly with the pattern itself, but you can see it did come down, get a little retest in this area, and then ultimately move up. We did talk about this channel a little bit yesterday as well. Like I said, it kind of regressed to the mean. It got on the top side of all of this nonsense here. So of course, I was like, hey, one thing we'll look for is a little move up with a retest. That's just kind of the thing that we look for here, ultimately, for that continuation up and right. Or we're looking for it to break down. I mean, and of course, it can go either way, but I was really saying let it come to you. And this is what I'm talking about when I say let it come to you, is let the price break out. Let's look for that retest, which we got, or just let it break down. And you could see that retest on the bottom side as well for that continuation down and right, or you just wait here at this level of support, right? You wait here for the level of support, and then you look for price action off of this area. So this is what we ended up with. We did get that retest, and now we're moving up and right. So where do we go from here now that we have that breakout? Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Delete that. Cool. So this is where you're going to see resistance, I think, is right around 64K. And that really has a lot to do with the 200 SMA on the daily, which is going to be a significant area. All right. So I don't know that it's necessarily going to hold, but you are probably going to see price action off of that area. Psychological stuff, man. That's a lot of times I like to play those areas just based on you're getting a quick move of price action because it interacts with a significant area. And a lot of traders are looking at those areas, right? So they'll play those. So that's where I think you'll get your first hit of resistance. And then you have a little bit more up here at about 65. But let's zoom out just a little bit. And now we got to start talking about point of controls and all that stuff because it's getting close, man. It's getting close to saying, hey, you know what, we're going to be moving here in a different direction. Because really, one of the things you look for is like, okay, where's the resistance here, and are we breaking above it? And I think that we are. I would say that we're kind of breaking out. We're making that move to the upside now, and that's for me pretty bullish. I think that we're probably going to see some movement up and right, but we got to get through some of this resistance here now, and that's what we'll be looking at. Your point of control for this whole range, though, is still sitting up at about 60. We'll call it 67,000. All right, so again, just got a lot to work through. It seems to be the story with Bitcoin right now, and everything's kind of converging in one area. But what I do like to see, if we take this on the, just in the shorter time frame, God, this was a great play. Chart prime for the win, man. I mean, it just gave it to you on the daily. It was like, here you go. Here's your reversal. Here's your peak seeker. Here's your bullish divergence, all in one place. And it was like, let's go. And it's been off to the races since then. But now we gotta look at where we can actually see some kind of resistance. And so that's kind of what we're waiting for. Nothing too crazy here, man. Like it looks good. It looks good. I mean, Alex, he sent you a couple things. What do you say? Do you smell that beautiful cheesy moon? Yeah, full moon, right? What was it? Was that last night? I can't remember what day you actually said it was, but
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, yesterday it was
and
a
it
full moon
takes
yesterday.
about 2 days to kind of realize those gains, I think, on the full moon. So I think, I mean, really, this is price action based off of news. There's no way to deny that one, but it does happen to coincide with a full moon. So there you go. Your 67% is now a little bit higher, Alex O. But this is it's kind of what I'm looking at, man. You got, again, I think near term resistance at 64Ks, which you keep an eye on. You do have now, look at all this, right? So you have confluence here. So what I would say is this could be a play. If you miss this move, right, you didn't catch that little retest there, then this is an area I'm going to be looking at. If price action rejects or if it moves down, this would be a play at about 60K. All right. So you could see something where it comes up like this and then comes down before ultimately making a move up. But there's no harm in just sitting here and waiting for price action. Don't always feel like you got to jump in. Don't FOMO in is basically what I'm getting at. Find your next level. All right. So find your next level, and that's where you'll enter. If you guys are just holding long term, it's looking good for you right now. I would say that the support level held up. We're still in the channel. We're breaking out of a pattern. We're getting over the dynamic reactor, all on the daily. Looks good. I mean, I don't really have much more to say. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to FD. I should be on the technicals right now. I messed that up. There you go. There's the technicals. All right, but I'm going to pass it over to FD. Let him crush some TA for you guys. Let's get it.
So I just got some. I'm looking at maybe 3 or 4 things. Number one, Bitcoin dominance. So we talked about this. We said watch out for this line here. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think we talked about it last week, and we finally broke out. I mean, we broke out hard. Retest here, just a perfect setup. Perfect setup. So I kind of knew Bitcoin dominance was going to move up. I was definitely hoping that it moved up while Bitcoin, moved up, because it can also go up as Bitcoin goes down. So it's going up. We're looking at a breakout. We got the retest, perfect retest. Got this, use this as resistance, broke above. Now it looks like we may be starting to top out, but no, a lot of people are saying 60%. They're aiming for that 60% level But this is what I'm really looking for. Where's my drawing tool? If we do start to just maneuver here and start to curl down while Bitcoin, let's say we go up to about 64, whereas major resistance about 64, I think maybe 64.5. And we start to curl down with Bitcoin dominance while we remain, around 63, 64. This is when altcoins are going to move. So let's go look at some altcoins. And I got to go look at my baby Popcat. So if you remember, if you've been faithfully watching this show, you remember when we talked about this move here. I still got the old ugly drawing right here. We said, watch out for Popcat to potentially pop down, pop back up, and then pop down. Hold this mustard colored support bar as support, and then pop up. And what did we do? I mean, we came perfectly. Well, we went down a little bit, but basically we retested, broke out of this falling wedge, resistance, broke above, retest, and now we're aiming. This is what I'm aiming at right now, that dollar. So if Bitcoin can remain somewhat bullish, Popcat is going to just pop. That's a perfect name for it, Popcat. So I'm watching Popcat in a trade, probably up about 32%. I have to check it. I can actually pull it up over on Blowfin. So I think I'll try to pull that up shortly. But I'm aiming for $1. I'm aiming for $1 for Popcat. So if you missed this move, it's not time to chase it. We will have a lot more moves, coming in the Discord. Now that like I said, now that everything is over, now that this rate cut thing is over, and we don't have to worry about this again till like November. I think a lot more. We'll get a clear direction, hopefully, of what's going to happen in the markets these next 40 to 47 days. What else did I want to look at? I wanted to look at the S&P 500. So this is what I was talking
Yeah, I want
about.
to see that. Let's
Talking about
see
this,
it.
yeah, talking about this triple top. So, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, these I haven't altered. These are the same drawings that I've been drawing for the past month, for the past few weeks. Came up, got rejected hard. Came up, got rejected a little bit harder, but we continue to make higher lows. So, I mean, this triple top, we could potentially, come back down, here and continue up. You know what I mean? And that would be, bullish for crypto as well to me, because that would just signal that risk on or risk assets are still in the work. So I'm looking at this here. I want to see how we close the week, and I want to see how we come into next week, because usually the first move was the wrong move. So with the stock market today, the first move was up, and then we closed in the green. I mean, in the red. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out on this, because if this starts to roll over, I don't know how confident I'm going to be in a crypto move or a Bitcoin move to continue to go a lot higher. I mean, we can continue to trickle up. I think I said 64 was probably major resistance. I think that's a major resistance point for me. So I will be keeping my eye out on that triple top for the S&P 500. What else did I want to look at? Stack. So this is a trading plan. This is my next trade that I'm potentially looking at. So Stacks is at a critical decision right now. So I have two scenarios drawn out. If we do, go bearish, I'll be looking at this $1.26, and looks like we're probably going to move up to this $1.80 to $1.84 level. Right now, we're at about $1.57, moving our way back up to this horizontal trend line right here that goes all the way back to the beginning of June. So I'll be looking to possibly flag under there. That's what I really like to look for when I look for resistances. I don't really long resistances. I look for a nice bullish structure under some resistance, right under it, maybe a bull flag, some type of bull pennant or something like that, falling wedge, and then possibly a breakout. And my target would be, $1.85, and then we'll see. Here I drew like another flag. So this is just my trading plan, my trading patterns that I look for. Of course, we pull up our our oscillators. We did have the MACD. I've been using the MACD for the past couple of weeks, just for a little bit more confluence. We did turn white. We were green, and we started turning back white again, going into the red, but we started to flip back green. So money flow is curving down on the daily. Let's look at a little shorter term or a short time frame. So money flow is still in the green on the 4 hourly, and looks like it's starting to dwindle out a little bit. I think that's curved up a little bit. So maybe we'll just get a little bit of consolidation in this area while, like we said, while Bitcoin dominance figures out what we want to do. So if Bitcoin dominance does come down while Bitcoin, remains sort of stagnant or not coming down, but it, stays sort of around 62, 63,000. We can see alts run, if Bitcoin dominance curls over back to about 58%. So that's really what I'm looking for. That'll be one of my signals for go mode, looking at that Bitcoin dominance, seeing how this Bitcoin dominance, because I mean, we popped and we popped hard. So now it looks like we may be starting to curl over, but I'll be, keeping my eye out on this probably over until Friday, going into the weekend, and then we'll see if we can get some type of rollover. Maybe we'll stop at about 58 3 or back down to about 58 2. But either way, as long as Bitcoin is still up, or like I said, around 62, 63K, even 60, 61K, we could probably get a little bit more movement in alts, because alts aren't really moving that hard, compared to this Bitcoin move. I think Bitcoin was up like 4 or 5%, while a lot of these alts were only up like 2 or 3%. So that's just telling me that the dominance and the power is in Bitcoin. So I'm just going to keep my eye out on there, and that'll be my north star for how I navigate with these altcoins. But we do have outliers like Popcat. Popcat is going to just pop just because Bitcoin goes up $10 or something like that. So Popcat has sometime a mind of its own. A lot of these alts sometimes have a mind of their own, but for the overall trajectory of the altcoin market, I will be keeping my eye out on Bitcoin dominance.
Right on, right on. Let's give a couple shout outs in the chat. I'm seeing French Toaster in here. Hola, my friend. Mike Plays in the house. Crypto Billy's in the house. Again, love the space with you guys last night in Crux. That was awesome. Who else we got in here? Scrolling. Did I say Flat Smack? I think I saw him in here as well. So right on, right on. Just want, oh, and Dave Digital, my dude. My dude. Hope all is well, my friend. But just want to give you guys a little bit of call out. Let's go ahead and go over to my screen real quick, and let's take a look-see at Sol. So we got a major trend line that I've been tracking for quite some time here on the 4-hour right now. Let's go ahead and look at it on the daily, though. Let's get on the daily and see what we're working with here, because it looks like Chart Prime is saying that we are looking at a potential breakout with a smart target. The smart target would put you right at the 200 SMA. So I do like to see that, but what I would say is be very, very careful. And the reason I say that is you have this major trend line here that's going to act as resistance. And you have the point of control. You have the dynamic reactor. So there's a lot of resistance. Again, this is kind of where we were making the call for Solana. That was probably about a week and a half ago or so, is where we were looking at that. So now you're just kind of waiting for this breakout, and you got a lot of junk in here. What I would like to see, though, is that old OC retest. We want to get over top of all this nonsense here on the daily, at least, and look for some kind of retest before you see that move up. But I think that's going to be your first stop of resistance. So if you guys are into maybe taking profit at some point throughout your trade, that could be an opportunity there, where you enter here, take profit, and then close here, or take profit too. Just up to you how you want to play the game. All right. That is Solana. So point of control, 144. That's a big line in the sand. We're at resistance time now. So I'd say right at about 136 is resistance. And then if it pulls back, where we looking to potentially enter a trade on Solana. I did tell you 125 is an area for me that I would be okay with adding to the bags of Solana there. So that's what I'll do. If I see a pullback there, I'll probably add to bags. And the reason I say, or where I'm pretty confident in that, is, I mean, you just see it here, you see it here, you see it here. So what are we looking at here? I mean, how many times can we interact with one area? So it looks like it wants to break out, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Prime oscillator looks good. It's trending up and right. Everything is bending up and right on the oscillator here. So it does appear as though it wants to break out. We're just gonna have to take a wait and see on this one. Unfortunately, we're on the show live, and here we are. It's hard when you're sitting at resistance to be like, yes, go long. It's that wasn't the spot. This was the spot right here, right down Friday. Yep, and this is where we were talking about it, because I remember I was at the airport on a Friday. There you go. So that would be the opportunity. Again, you're going to be looking for these levels. They're going to be pretty key for Solana. Let's see what. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at the S&P real quick, and I know you just looked at it. But I want to see, hey, what's Chart Prime saying? So it does have an ascending triangle. Now, ascending triangle, that's a bullish pattern. and you're on the daily right now. So it's a bullish pattern, right? Pressure is building. You could see it pull back, and then you could see a break. You could. You could. What's fighting it though? Come down to the prime oscillator, you're looking at that, and okay, we have our high here. All right. And then we have our high on the RSI, and we look at the RSI. That not a significant trend down and right, but is a trend down and right. So when you're looking at a double top or a triple top, one of the things you don't want to see is the RSI trending down and right with the subsequent touches. So that's interesting to me. I would take note of that. But overall, I mean, the ascending triangle, the probability is more likely to break to the upside than to the downside. So wanted to take a quick look at the S&P. So that, I mean, dude, it could get crazy with the S&P, just looking at that right now. But I I don't know why. I just have this like feeling for a little bit of a pullback. And I know that doesn't necessarily line up. But I just all-time highs, man. I get weirded out by all-time highs. Here, and I was saying the same thing when they were setting the all-time high. I was like, man, I think there's going to be a pullback, and there was a pullback. Ultimately recovered and made a new all-time high, but there was a pretty big pullback. I mean, if you're looking at the pullback here, measurement-wise, I mean that's a 10% move on the S&P. So there's that. I would be careful here is all I'm going to say. But if it pops, man, it'll be all good for S&P. It's just crazy that the S&P has performed so strong through all of the craziness, right? We've had essentially a recession with new numbers. We've had, inflation go through the roof. We've seen, the rates go up. We've seen the rates come down now, and the S&P is just trucking along up and right, up and right. And like, there's a lot of people like when I first got into investing, they're just like, just throw in the S&P, bro. It's one of the safest investments you can do. Just throw in the S&P. That thing just goes up and right. And over time it does. It does have its moments, but over time, it stood the test of time. And one of the things that like really like just doesn't add up for me is that if you're having a recession and you're having all of this inflation and people have less disposable money, how is the market still moving up and right? And I think that's the rich are getting richer and the institutions are still, investing, right? So that's, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy times, man. But I feel like a pullback is due personally. Maybe I have a little bearish sentiment because of Piper on that aspect, but I'm still overall very, very bullish on Bitcoin. So kind of like contradicting, but I feel like we have made a move into like adoption and regulation that tells me that Bitcoin is going to move like the S&P. It may not be this crazy blow off top that everyone keeps talking about. It could just keep moving up and right. And that's okay because, ultimately, you want to see growth there. You invested in it. If you're invested in something, you want to see your investment be in the positive. And so that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Again, if we don't lose that channel, I'm staying bullish. I don't care what you say, Piper. This is telling you, the trend is your friend till the end, baby. Let's go. All right. FD,
Definitely,
man. You got
definitely.
anything else? You got anything else you want to look at?
Yeah, I got. Oh yeah, I got. I'm back, man. I got a lot of
Oh,
stuff
he's
to look at,
back.
but I will look at. I
He's
will
itching.
look at one more that's on my radar that I think everybody should put on their radar is Ando. Let's go over to Ando.
Over to
So this
you.
is a macro downward downtrend that we've been in ever since the high back in June, when we reached about $1.50. So we just been down only, down only, down only. But what do we see right now? Let's actually zoom into the 4 hour and we can see what's potentially happening, depending on how you draw your lines. Pretty much subjective, but it looks like we're starting to peak our head above this downward sloping trend line. So this is what I'm really looking forward to for Ando. I think Ando not only is a good trade, if we do possibly come back up here, maybe retest. We'll have a little bit of resistance here, possibly pop back up. But I think this is also a good long-term hold. I keep saying that. I'm gonna keep saying this every video. So when it goes to like $20, people are going to be like, dang, FD did say Ondo was a good deal at 63 cents. I don't know if it's going to go to $20. I'm just trying to make a point. But I think Ondo is it's just like with Bitcoin. Once Larry Fink and once BlackRock started to talk about Bitcoin, I'm like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all in on Bitcoin. They started to talk about Ondo. They have a lot of things going on with Ondo. So that's my buy signal. That's my signal to try to allocate as much as I can to Ondo. So right now, what I'm looking at, like I said, this is on the long term, longer time frames. Let's actually pull up some oscillators. We did have a bull div right under resistance, which is what I like to see. We popped our head up. We have the MACD on the 4 hour turning green, which is a good sign. Let's actually go to the daily and see what we're looking at. We have money flow that's been in the deep red for quite a bit, since the beginning of August. It's finally starting to curve upward. So we got to keep our eye out on that. Hopefully, we can come back up as Bitcoin goes up, and hopefully, Bitcoin dominance comes down a little bit so these altcoins can run. We did have the MACD crossover down there. So I'm looking at Ondo. I like Ondo, man. Ondo, I'm looking at a trade, and I'm also looking at trying to accumulate anything I said, anything under this 85 cent area for me was good. And right now we're at 63 cents. So I feel like this is a good trade that I'm going to be looking at. If alts start to run, and this is also a good buy zone for me for Ondo in my long term, mid to long term back. When I say long term for altcoins, I don't mean like 5 years. I don't think I'm going to hold any altcoin for 5 years. I'm going to have mostly convert everything back over to Bitcoin and some into fiat, to distribute amongst some other different asset classes. But I'm going to be majority in crypto. But when things start to roll over, I'll be majority in Bitcoin. And I do think we're still going to get a blow off top. I don't think we're at the point where we're going to start fizzling out and just getting those small returns every year, like the stock market. But even if the stock market does roll over, historically, the stock market only goes down for like 10 months and it goes up for like 3.5 years. Like that's really how the stock market moves. And it's a rigged game. Like the game is rigged for the stock market to go up. Like the way they put everything together, the way they tied it to people's jobs and 401ks and all this other stuff is meant to go up. Like it's a rigged game. So that's why everybody says just buy S&P, buy, VOO and all these other QQQ, NASDAQ or things like that if you want to get into tech. That's why they say it, because it's all meant to go up, these indices and whatnot. So it's just the way it is. It's going to continue to go up. The dollar is going to keep getting debased by assets, man. These short-term ebbs and flows are not going to matter in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm not even talking about 5 to 10 years. I'm talking about the next 1 to 2 years. I'm going to be accumulating assets, and crypto, of course, is going to be the number one thing I'm going to do. And of course, these altcoins are my long short-term play. So when I say that, I mean within the next year, within the year. So when I talk about altcoins, I talk about within a year. So I'm thinking Ondo is going to be one of my best performers.
Ondo, that's the one. That one's in bed with BlackRock, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I threw some coin at Ondo a little while ago. I got beat up on it though. Maybe I'll start putting a couple bucks back into it. So I've
Yeah,
been kind of letting
bring
the
your price, your average price down, man. I
yeah.
think it's a good time. Even if we might roll over. I listen to Piper every day, man. He got me a little bit bearish sometime, but then my bull comes out, and then I think about a little bit. I think about all the catalysts that are against it, and I think all the catalysts that are for us to pump. And short term, midterm is the hardest one to gauge. Long term, we know what's going to happen. Short term, right now, we're probably going to be a little bit bullish. Midterm is the hardest one to gauge right now. So I'm doing short and long right now for my time frames.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I'm like contradicting like myself in terms of like I'm bullish on one side, like I'm bullish on crypto right now, but I'm actually a little bit more bearish on the traditional stocks. And I don't know if that's correct, but I just have this gut feeling. We'll say that, that ascending triangle doesn't play out. I kind of feel like it might pull back a little bit. Feel like we're due for a cool off of the S&P. And I think that as we discuss this more and data comes out, I think they're going to peel back, like you said, the onion a little bit on the 50 basis point, you know, cut. And I don't know. I think there's more to explore there. That's for sure. I want to know why it's 0.5,
I'm,
not 0.25. So
you know what, TradeFly? You know what one of my guys told me? He said, trade with the chart and not with your heart. So we gotta. I'm putting all emotions to the side. I don't care if unemployment is at 100%. If the stock market is going up, if crypto is going up, I'm long. That's what I'm going to. That's my new strategy, man. I'm letting the charts do the talking.
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, can't argue with that. The only time that, you know, I talk to people and I'm like, all right, the charts aren't everything is when you get that news, right? The news that comes out and that has an influence. And today is a prime example. If you were just trading the charts, like, and you didn't take into account the meeting that we had and the volatility that came along with it, like it could get really weird for you. And there's just times that news comes out, like when XRP, you know, when that whole case got settled, even though it didn't. Remember, the first time was like fake news. The charts popped, right? And the rest of the market moved a little bit with it, just based on XRP news. So that is why we do cover that here on the channel as well. You know, little pitch for our morning show. They do a great job of going through the news and breaking down some of the economics, as well as you know, they're just good with TA too. I mean, so I've learned a lot from OC and Piper, and so little shill for you there. Alex O, my dude, he was on yesterday. He's great with TA. Definitely go check his channel out as well. He definitely dropped a little bit of alpha yesterday. More of a macro perspective that he took, and it was cool to see. And he jumped on the bullish train with me. So Piper, it's 3v1 right now, bro. You better knuckle up like Jenna
Whoa,
X.
whoa, whoa! So,
What's up?
so Dave Digital just made a shout out to Dave Digital, man. He made a good point. He said he's just trading short term time frame. So that is one of my strategies right now. I'm taking profits. I am taking profits quicker on trades because of the environment that we're in. Usually, I'll set it and forget it. I'll enter a trade or I get in profit, and then I'll let it ride. You know, if the market is like super bullish, but right now. Like if we hit like TP1, TP2, I might be out at TP2. I'm not gonna lie, I might maybe at TP1, but right now I definitely feel Dave Digital, man. I'm doing shorter term. My mind frame is a little bit shorter when it comes to trades because sometimes, like last bull run, like 2 or 3 of my trades turned into investments. I don't think we're in that type of environment right now. Like I got into a trade. I think it was what was the name of that thing? Veracity. Was trading Veracity on like 3 or 4x, and then it turned into an investment. I just kept holding it. I kept holding it and kept holding it, and then the fees started adding up. But it turned once you're in a bullish structure or bullish market like that, sometimes those trades turn into investments. But right now, I'm taking profits.
See, Piper, man, he's crushing me. He's like, hey, I'm still. He's like, hold on, what did he say here? I'm gonna find it. Erase your hopium and bias. Be aware and be prepared. You still holding Bitcoin, man? You just as
Hey
bullish. Get out
man,
of here. Get out of here.
I'm
You still
prepared.
holding it.
I'm prepared, Piper. I'm
You
prepared,
still
Piper. I'm
holding it.
very prepared to go to zero. I'm prepared to go to hold it to zero. I'm holding it to zero, man.
You round
We're
tripping
mega
the hell out
bullish
of the
over here.
Bitcoin, huh?
We're round. No, I'm playing. I'm not round trip. I round trip last cycle, man, and it was the worst
Set
feeling in
that
the
stop
world,
loss.
man.
Set that
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
loss.
yeah. So
Lock in the
I
profits.
got stop losses. Yeah, I got stop losses on my spot position, man. I really do. So
I do
right
that all the
now,
time.
like I'm not round tripping anything. If we do start to go to hell, I do have stop losses. And thank you. Luckily, Piper did. We had a long conversation last week about this, and I went in and things that I had on some platforms, I did put stop losses. I do have some on like cold wallets and like wallets. I don't even remember the seed phrases. I got to remember. I got to find like my notebook. Probably got like 30 or $40,000 worth of crypto, man. And I don't even know the wallet number. I have to like really find some stuff and match it together. I got too many wallets. But
That's
Piper
crazy.
did put me together, and he told me that he gave me his rundown. He gave me a whole spiel of information, and I started to go in and put some stop losses for some of my spot positions as well. So shout out to Piper. I am prepared if we do turn over, but if not, we'll see. But either
Hey,
way, we're gonna make money shorting, longing. It don't matter what
that's it.
position we're in. So it just depends on who you are and what you're doing, what you're, some people are traders. Like some people are just traders. They don't care what it's doing as long as it's moving. But
Mm-hmm.
some people are investors that don't trade at all. So they want it to go up. And then some people like me, I'm more of an investor, but I will trade. I will turn into a full-fledged trader and go heavy with the trading. So it's just depend on your goals, depend on your time frame. That's why a lot of times when we talk, you can't take it just at face value. You have to put it with your own, your own life and what you're doing with your own money and how you're managing your own portfolio or your own trading. So it's just one of them things, man. We provide non-financial advice and entertainment over here. That's all.
Bro, friggin' Army Piper, he's on one right now. Like everything he's saying right now, I feel like it's a Chinese fortune cookie. Isn't it? Can't ride on cruise control when you hit a crash crisis. What? Come
Hey,
on,
man.
bro. All right. Y'all know I like talking smack with Piper. I love him though. He's good peoples.
Yeah, man.
Let's give a small shout out here to Jenna X. Jenna X actually won her fight today. She has been training her butt off. I mean, she's even kind of taken a back seat in terms of like doing content creation, everything. She went hard in the paint prepping for the fight. So congratulations to you. She is part of the family. Super stoked for her. I do want to go back and actually watch some highlights of that fight, man. I
Yeah,
definitely
well,
want to
yeah.
see this. I want to see her
I
throws.
watched it, man. I watched it
Did you?
live, man. That first round, yeah, the first round,
She come out swinging?
no, she lost the first round, but then she
Really?
came back out. She was pissed, man. She was pissed. She was throwing. She came out with you remember Street Fighter with
Yeah, yeah.
Saget? He used to come with the flying knee. She came out with one of those. She came out with an elbow. She was, throwing those punches. But if you're not a super trained fighter, like you're gonna start losing wind really quick.
Oh
So you could
yeah.
tell
Oh
they got
yeah.
tired. And then so they went to a sudden death round, and then the other girl got her a little bit at the beginning, but then she came back and finished strong, man. So shout out to the homie Jenna, man. She did it, man. So we gotta get her on the channel once she gets back and recovers. Give her a little bit of time. And yeah, we said we were gonna
Ain't no time for
collab,
the
so we'll
week.
get that collab
No
going.
time for
Yeah,
the week. We're gonna get her on. That'd be
yeah,
cool.
we'll get her. It was good, man. It was good. I don't like
Yeah.
to see girls fighting, man. I don't like to look at that,
Really?
but no, I don't like to see it, man. I think girls, I just want to I love the women. I love the ladies, man. I don't want to see them bleeding. I don't want to see them hurting.
My man's over here. I want cuddles.
Yeah, I just want to my wife might be watching this, man. Let's
Yeah. Yeah, we're
moving
done.
on.
We're done. On to the next subject. On to the next one. We are gonna have Keeper on tomorrow. So we'll have Crypto Keeper on tomorrow. I did text him earlier, so he said it is a lock. He'll see us tomorrow. Should be good. And with that, I don't know, FD, you got anything for the people on the way out?
You know what, man? I know some girls that will beat you up though. My wife is a savage, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I do want to, if
She
she,
tamed you,
just
didn't she?
hey, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes hey, if you're not a little bit scared of your wife, sometimes then it's not gonna work out.
Oh man. All right. Well, there we go again. Off in left field. That's our thing. But it's a crypto nightcap. That's what this is for. We give you guys some of the most important market news and TA. Hopefully that you can actually use. That's kind of the idea here. Thank you guys for all stopping by. We truly appreciate it. It is great mixing up with you guys. I love the vibe here. With that being said, if you did enjoy the show today, please give us a like and subscribe. We would truly appreciate that. We are trying to grow and we are trying to beat the morning show. It is game on, baby. We're trying to get those views up. So Piper, we're coming after you. And we are going to get out of here. You guys have a great night. Trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow. We're out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain.